What you're seeing is a spotlight effect that follows the mouse, making it feel as if the user is holding a flashlight to explore and illuminate the statues. Surprisingly, creating this effect only requires a single JavaScript event, mouse move. At its core, mouse move is simply an event listener that tracks the cursor's position. But when you combine a simple event like this with a bit of creativity and imagination, you can create experiences that feel truly immersive. Here I've created an HTML file, a CSS file for designing the layout, and a JavaScript file to listen for mouse movement events. Prioritize placing the style file at the top of the page as it will help the page display the correct layout when the user first accesses it. As for the JavaScript, place it at the end because JavaScript events only occur after the page has fully loaded. Now all I need to do is create a banner class. The banner will then contain a class called content, which will hold the title and some title and description content. And that's all we need to do in the HTML file. Now for the CSS, first, I need to remove the default margin of the body. Then the banner will have a height equal to 100% of the current screen size. If the content overflows, there will be a hidden overflow tool to cut it off. I'll use display flex to move the content block, bringing it down to the bottom, then centering it, and centering all the text inside. Now I'll embed the pre-prepared image as the background, using background size cover to adjust the image size to fit the current banner size. Then I'll center the image on the screen. Because the background is dark, we can't see the image clearly, so I'll change the text color to smoky gray. The default font size will be 30 pixels, with Summerton Dents used for phone and sans serif as a fallback, in case the main font doesn't load. For the title tag, I want it to be about 400% larger than the default size and remove the margin. Do the same with the P tag. And add 30 pixels of padding to create some space from the bottom margin of the banner. That completes the initial layout design. Looking back at our initial design for analysis, it's clear we need a black background layer overlapping the banner to cover everything. Theoretically, in the HTML file, we would need to create an additional element to fulfill this role. However, this isn't necessary because in CSS, when you declare the banner after, the browser will automatically understand and create an element at the end of the banner. This is it. I'll temporarily create a red background to help us visualize its size. According to the design, we need it to be the same size as the banner itself and positioned to completely cover it. So on the back, declare a position relative to act as a reference point. Then on the after side, declare a pointing absolute to allow it to move freely along the reference point with an inset value of 0, meaning the distance from the four edges of the banner to the after element is 0. Thus, we have an element that completely covers the banner. Instead of using a single color background, I'll use a radial gradient to create a circle, 500 pixels in size, placed right in the center, with the chosen color ranging from red to light. It will look like this. The red color is currently obscuring the image background, so I'll simply change the red to a transparent color. This is the result we're waiting for. However, even though we can see the banner, we still can't interact with it because we're actually working with the after statement, not the banner itself. In this case, add the pointer property event none, so the pointer can pass through after and interact with the banner. Returning to the background circle, we simply change the center value to the x-axis and y-axis values. For example, I want the center of the circle to intersect the x-axis by 70 pixels and the y-axis by 100 pixels. That's the key point. By changing the x-axis and y-axis values, the highlight will change accordingly. So in the banner, I'll create two variables named x and y to represent the desired coordinates. Then here we just replace them, but remember to always wrap them with a var function. Now let's move on to JavaScript to capture the mouse movement event and change the x and y values. First, we need to call the banner to interact with it in JavaScript via a query selector. The banner will listen for an event, which is mouse movement. In JavaScript, there is a function called getBoundingClientRect, which returns the coordinates of the banner relative to the screen. Now imagine this is the position of your mouse cursor within the banner. Rect left is the distance from the left edge of the banner to the screen border, and client X is the distance from the cursor position to the screen border. These are two values provided by JavaScript, but what we need is the X coordinate relative to the banner. So we just need to subtract rect left from client X. Based on the formula, we substitute it into the code like this. Similarly, we will do the same with the Y-axis. Now, after obtaining the X and Y coordinates of the mouse cursor, our next task is to assign those values to the X and Y variables in CSS. To do this, I will write the code as follows. Call the banner to point to the style, call the setProperty function, declare the variable name and the new value, and add pixels at the end. Following this order, I will also declare and replace the Y-axis value with the new value. Now, I want the lighting effect to only appear when the cursor moves within the banner area. I will do this in CSS. By default, the after element will wrap a black background color around the banner. When the user hovers over the banner, I will call after to change the background color to transparent. To make the effect smoother, I will specify that this transition should occur within 0.7 seconds. Pretty good, right? So what if the user wants to see the full banner instead of this light effect? In JavaScript, I'll make the banner listen for an event, this time a click. I'll add a class called hideSpotlight to the banner. When this class is added, I'll copy the opacity value to the after tag to hide it. So now, when they click, they can see the entire banner image. The only remaining issue to improve the UI/UX is that we need to let the user know they can click on the banner to see the full image. So on the UI/UX side, I just need to change the cursor effect to a pre-prepared zoomed-in image. If you want to choose a different image, note that the selected image must have a maximum size of 64 pixels. And when the effect is hidden, the cursor should return to its original shape. And this is what we did in this project. If you liked it, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel to support me. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.